Boring, bland and predictable was tonight's NXT, the 9th of January 2024. It's exactly what it was. Did a preview earlier and I got every single prediction right. And you know what the funny thing is? Normally, you might get every prediction right, but maybe the endings could be different. Literally every match that was on tonight's show went exactly like I said. And let's not waste any more time. Let's begin with beginning of the show, and we did have Blair Davenport and Nikita Lyons brawling in the parking lot, which eventually led backstage. We then cut to Vic Joseph and Booker T. They're kind of introducing the show, got a promo package of what happened last week. These two then make their way out. They end up in the ring, so the referee calls for the bell. Let's start the match that was advertised here first. And like I said, it was quite a cheap finish. I said Davenport would probably cheat to win. It would protect both of them. And that is exactly what happened. I mean, the match it's alright. It does the job. I mean, it protects Nikita Lyons. It does the job for Davenport. She picks up the W at the end of the day. She has the Iron Survivor Challenge. You can hand that contract in at any time. That future NXT Women's Championship opportunity. But it's like, really? Like, they brawl backstage. It's like the whole beef is stemmed for the whole NXT Anonymous beatdown in the parking lot, which just seems like a hell of a long time to go. But yeah, Blair Davenport wins here via pinfall. We then cut to Cody Rhodes. He's giving us a preview. And I even called this in the he's giving us a preview of the Dusty Cup. I even called this in the preview about Cody Rhodes talking about how he's the Gwen son of a plumber and Dusty was the son of a plumber. So I'm sick of this talk about plumbers, man. Forget about it. Absolutely forget about it. Drop it. I don't care about sinks. I don't care about baths. I don't care about pipes. The plumber talk seriously needs to go in the bin. It's that simple. Cody Rhodes, the story is done, son. If you think you're taking the Rock's WrestleMania Night 2 match away from him, you've got another thing coming in again, the Dusty Rhodes Cup. I've voiced my opinion about this a million times. I just do not understand it in the slightest. Do it once. I mean, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. And that's exactly what this is. You don't need to repeat it every year. It's like the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. They do it every single year, man. It's like, what are we doing? Honestly, I mean, at least the breakout tournaments make sense. And it's not even like this Dusty tournament is a breakout tournament. You've tag teams like Corbin and Breakker wung together. Two guys that, realistically, if they're not feuding for the belt in NXT, what they doing there? I mean, especially Breakker, but I mean, Corbin's just been brought down there. Yeah, we cut backstage. Carmel Hayes and Trick Williams say, right, you know what, we're going to team up. So yeah, we're now part of the Dusty Cup. And this was all you got from Carmel Hayes and Trick Williams tonight, which I actually think is quite disgraceful. They are like the two guys that have been the head of the show for months now, and that is it. Absolutely over. These two appear for like a 30-second clip saying they're going to team up like the good old days, and that's us. Teaming up like the bad old days. We've got Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin against Gallus here in a first round match in the 2024 Dusty Cup. And exactly like I said, Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin win. The only way they would have lost this match is if one of them turned on the other. And they didn't do that. But, it's like, why does Baron Corbin care about lifting a Dusty Rhodes Cup, right? Why does Braun Breaker care about lifting it? Now, yeah, he debuted it, right, on the main roster and he won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. For me, that's a wee bit different. Braun Breaker, it's like this guy's had numerous NXT title reigns. What does he benefit if you're lifting this? You breakout tournaments, singles tournaments. Why not fire a couple of breakout tag teams in there and try and put over some new tag teams? Don't really understand it, to say the least. Don't we? See Tiffany Stratton, though, she begins her ranch hand duties. I mean, these were alright. We've seen them throughout the night. Essentially, here she arrives, dressed like she was having a match. But of course, she's in the stables. You're picking up horse shite. You don't dress in all pink. Haha. Chuckles galore happening here. Live Valkyrie comes out to the ring and is like, let me tell you something, mate. Next week we're having a 20-woman over the top battle royal, pint of Guinness, but when it gets down to the last four, it's going to become a fatal four-way match, and then the winner of that will take me on for the NXT Women's Champion. Oh, chugga, luck of the Irish, oh yeah. Right, so, here, at least it's a bit of a stipulation there, you know, battle royal. I think this would almost work more with men. But to be honest, I've no real issues with a battle royal just ending like a battle royal. Because I feel like in a battle royal, anyone can win. You know, we've seen a lot of battle royals where, like, you know, a surprise winner happens. If it gets down to the final four, you know, and you've got like The Rock, Austin, Triple H, and then the Hurricanes in there, you know, realistically, the Hurricane ain't gonna pin them. You know, like if he's down to three, like those two could eliminate each other and the Hurricane could survive. You know, like when McMahon threw Austin over, right? Is McMahon going to get a pinfall victory over Austin? No, I think it's different, but here, at least it's a different stipulation for next week. Out come Lola Fice and Elektra Lopez. Just talking generic shit here. Oh, I can cash in this baby when I want, of course, because she has the contract. Liv Valkyrie's then turns to Elektra Lopez. Oh, you were the glue that held Legado del Fantasma together. Remember the good old days where they used to meet on a boat, on a big yacht with the family? They seem long ago. They seem like completely different space contingent, man. That's what they feel like. But here, all about the Battle Royal next week, man. That's what we're looking forward to. We then have Metaphor backstage. They're taking credit for Josh Briggs and his wee faction splitting up. Briggs is like, well, the one for you, Captain Sack, yeah, I'll beat you. Then Noam Dar's like, hey, it's alright, man. If you want to do this and you do that, then we settle it in the ring. You can't beat Metaphor, Alicia Fox. Yeah, looks like we've got Briggs taking on Mensa in a match later on. Dragon Lee then has an interview with The Rock's daughter, Ava. Lexis King then interrupts it because who wants to hear Dragon Lee speak? And yeah, these two are going to collide in the main event later on tonight. We then have that Josh Briggs Ora Mensa match. Noam Dar keeps getting involved, and eventually one last involvement, but it actually ends up costing Ora Mensa. He ends up losing because Briggs hits the clothesline from hell to pick up the victory. I mean, it was an alright clothesline, but I just don't think there's anyone really that's going to be hitting clotheslines like JBL, to say the least. Because, I mean, he's calling it the clothesline from, well, I say he's calling it, I guess Wrestling Headlines is calling it. Tiffany Stratton then has to clean one of Fallon Hendry's horses called Buttercup. Apparently cleaning them's called mucking, mucker, whatever the hell that terminology is all about. I mean, why can't you just say you're cleaning the stable, mucking the stable? Anyway, and then Tiffany Stratton said, muck this, which is obviously a bit of a pun on fuck this, but we can't say that on NXT. We then had our fourth match of the evening. We had the family taking on a OTM for the WWE NXT Championships, and this OTM, I don't understand the purpose. Well, I'd say there's not much purpose in most people in wrestling these days, but the family have just went downhill so much, man. They're fun, exciting segments, and like the only time you see them now is like if they're defending their belts, and most of the time it's just an easy win for them. Easy win. This was an easy win. Make no mistake about it. They just won. Cookie cutter match. Went to about 10 minutes. The family win. Let's get back into restaurants. Let's get back round the table. Let's discuss business. Let's discuss sleeping with the fishes and all that good stuff. We then have OTM walking backstage with scripts, and this woman, I believe, was in the breakout tournament, like talks to them. It looks like she's joining their group, so there's 4 of them instead of 3. Whoop-de-doo. We then have Cora Jade against Gigi Dolan up next, and like I said, Gigi Dolan is cold as the other side of the pillow right now. Cora Jade's just back from a return. Makes zero sense for Gigi Dolan to win this match. Cora Jade wins. DDT. One, two, three. Hits the DDT. There was about a Booker T Triple H delay in the pin like WrestleMania 19 here. Still got the job done. We then cut back to the farm for the last and final vignette. We've got Tiffany Stratton. She finishes picking up the horse shit and putting it in a wheelbarrow. She's like, I'm leaving. Fallon Henry's like, okay. Tiffany Stratton then walks out, stands on a bit of horse shit, trips, falls in this big bucket of water. They all laugh at her. And she's like, I was going to tell you to watch your step, but you stepped in it. Something like that, man. It's like, what? In here, I like NXT. I like the fact it shows you these like people that are up and coming and hopefully make a star of themselves on the main roster one day. You can only hope for the future of wrestling because it looks bleak, but I think when they're doing these wee backstage segments, there's like too much like goofy music. Like if someone like has a serious tone, you'll hear this like serious music. If someone is being funny, you'll hear this like goofy music. Like see when Austin and Booker T were brawling in the supermarket, we didn't get that. You know, it just played out like it was a real fucking fight. You know, when Austin was punching Booker T, we weren't hearing like clown noise, like ba-doing, ba-doing. You know, I don't like this. I'm not a fan of this. They're perfectly honest. And what I'm not a fan of either is this Dusty Cup match. Exeum and Nathan Fraser against Hank Walker and Tank Ledger. What is this? I mean, how can Gallus be taking on Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin in a first round match, and this is the other one? Nathan Fraser and Exeum win. Whoop-de-doo, they advance to the next round. And then it's time for our main event. Dragon Lee against Lexis King for the WWE North American Championship. This match started with like 4 minutes to 3. Dragon Lee defeats Lexis King. What are they doing with Lexis King, by the way? What are they doing with Brian Pillman Jr.? Well, I don't want to be called that. Well, you know what, we'll call you Lexis King, Brian Pillman Jr. The guy deserves better. Joins the breakout tournament. I'm like, there's no way this guy's going to lose. These guys are a bunch of bums. This guy's actually been established and doing really good vignettes. Here he is losing. I mean, how can you have a guy that talks a good game in his promos, like, oh, I never lose, and then all he does is lose? Here, he loses clean to Dragon Lee, which is alright. Yeah, he's a heel. Dragon Lee's the face, but maybe like outside interference or something. This guy's just losing clean every week, and you know, what's the story here? He's not even like portrayed as like a chicken shit heel. He's portrayed as like a cocky heel, and I think there's a key difference in that. And for the guy to lose every week, I mean, his momentum's stone cold. And then out comes Femi Martins, or you can drop Martins. He cashes in his contract and he defeats Dragon Lee. So as I did say at the start of this, predictable, bland, boring. It was, but this wasn't scheduled for tonight. And here, at least this is something new. But this is weird for me. Why not have Lexis King defeat Dragon Lee and then have this guy cash in on Lexis King? Because I forgot to mention this. We had the segment earlier in the night where Lexis King told this guy, well, if I didn't get put out of the tournament, I'd have beat you in the final anyway, Femi. So therefore, it's set up like a feud between those two. How much better would it have been if Lexis King beat Dragon Lee and then he hears this guy's music and he's like, oh shit, I told him earlier I was going to beat him. And then Femi beats Lexis King. To me, that's the smart booking, but obviously Shawn Michaels has wonky eyes on one thing and his good eyes on the other. That's it for NXT. I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10. I like the ending of the show. I mean, you're giving one of the breakout stars a belt. For me, that's the right idea. Dragon Lee is doing nothing for me, so you may as well give it to one of the guys who's literally just debuted in the past month. But yeah, the family retain a couple of entertainment segments here or there, but the Dusty Cup, I can get in the bin. Till next time, peace.